Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jolley Marriage Show. I am Dr. Willie Jolley, and this is Taylor-Jolley. Welcome to everybody, wherever you may be, around the country, around the world. We know now people are joining in around the world, literally, and we want to say welcome to you wherever you are in America or in other countries. We want to say welcome to the Jolley Marriage Show. For those who might be first timers, we are the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage in 9 days. We will have we will celebrate our 38th wedding anniversary. 38 years. I mean, man, come on over here close to me, you little cutie. And 38 years of us being married and together. And so we are grateful. We have not had an argument.
It's 40-some years together, meaning dating and all that. 38 married.
All right, 38 years. Haven't had an argument in over 36, 37 years, I guess. Somewhere in there. And we're grateful. My son pushed us to write this book, and now we're grateful for so many people who have said that the book has saved their marriage, enhanced their marriage, improved their marriage. We also have a lot of people who said, we went and got your marriage or your relationship repair series, and that helped our relationship tremendously. So we encourage everybody to go and get that at jolleymarriage.com/events. jolleymarriage.com/events. Mark Down said 36 years for him an event, but I'm so much there. He thinks he's younger than that. But Mark, I'll go with yeah, Mark. You Mark. 36 years. Congratulations to y'all too. And Terrence just said it's also a premarital book. Before you say I do. Thank you, Terrence, for that.
It will so save you.
It will save you a lot of trouble, a lot of headaches, a lot of heartaches. So just get the book. Get 2 copies of the book. 2 copies of the book. That's another market. Premarital book. I love that. All right, so we're going to finish up what we last week was such a rollicking and rolling and
it was about parenting styles.
But so many people said they wanted to discuss it and go into greater detail. So, and one of the things they brought up, Willie Larkin from Willie's in Wisconsin, Dr. Willie Larkin, former president of, many college presidents. He's been president of a number of colleges. He said, well, what about grandparents? And we didn't have time to do any conversation on that. So we just want to continue to have this conversation. If you have any commentary for those who are live on this topic, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll try and address it. Now, let's talk about this, Dee, because you had some very specific comments from somebody who was at one of our marriage events at a church.
Okay, why don't I
why don't you go ahead?
Want to approach it.
All right, well, you approach it the way you
of course I did some
research. You know she's going to do research. You know she's going to do research. The teacher in her, or ex-teacher in her, says, I got to do the research. So, okay.
I am not a talking head. I have to do research first.
Yes.
Some interesting information. Okay, 2 sources, because there's stuff all over the internet, but you have to be careful what you read. So one is a nice website, fathersmatter.org.
Oh, by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers yesterday. What a great thing to do to be able to say you're a father and not just a sperm donor. Right. You're a father. We got some great fathers. And unfortunately, many people don't focus on the good things that are happening with fathers. They talk about all the bad fathers who not. We want to celebrate the fathers. I spoke yesterday at Shiloh Baptist Church for Father's Day and then went to speak for Iota Phi Beta fraternity for their annual Jazz Father's Day scholarship brunch. We had a full day.
Where they provide scholarship dollars to children going to college, as well as maintain those in college.
Yeah, it was very, very, very inspirational.
Just our second year there and your first year there to speak.
Yes.
So, two sources that I read, and one was fathersmatter.org, which has some great information, and another source was RAND, RAND, which is a research arm of RAND. And they work in conjunction with this particular topic with the University of Texas on information.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you know?
Okay.
Only 11% of grandparents are raising their grandkids because of the death of their child or of the child's parents. Only 11%.
11%.
But 40% of them are raising their children raising the grandchildren because their children have substance abuse issues.
Wow.
Did you know what I said?
40% of children being cared for by a parent are there because at least one of the parents has substance abuse issues. Make it so. Yeah, that's very challenging, and a lot of parents or grandparents are dealing with that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can think of some instances of that. So for every child that is in the foster care system right now, there are about 25 kids to every one that's in foster care that's being raised by a grandparent.
Wow.
So you got one in foster care, the other 25 that are, for some reason, the parents can't take care of them, right?
Uh-huh.
A few of them are deceased, but the majority of them are there because the parents couldn't take care of them because they have substance abuse issues. That is just, it's terrible.
That's challenging, yeah.
And so the parents, grandparents, and extended families members have stepped in.
Okay, we know the problem, D, but let's talk about. I mean, you give me
all
of the. I know all of the
but you have to put it in perspective. But just to say, oh well, what do you do?
But hold on, I got that, D. Come on, that's like when I used to speak. I used to talk about all the things initially when I first started.
I need to know the lay of the land before you can give an what would you do?
Go ahead, finish.
Okay,
give me
go ahead. You don't want to hear anymore.
I don't want to hear anymore. It's just all of the bad stuff that we know is true.
Okay, go ahead.
And what we want to do is talk about the ones that are real life experiences, like the wife and husband, or wife who came up there and said, "I got a problem. Our daughter has a substance abuse issue. We had to take the children."
There are 3 of them.
My husband said, "I've worked all my life to raise my own kids. I worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, making sure they were taken care of. Now, Mark Dow said, stop arguing, you 2 crazy kids." We don't argue. We disagree, but we don't argue. No, but the husband said, "I've been doing this all this time. I am tired. I want to go on vacation. I want to go on a cruise. I want to do a 6-month worldwide cruise. Going around. I've worked all this to now retire, and I got to raise another generation." He was not happy with it. When the wife was saying we take them in, and he's saying we got.
There was really no solution to it.
But it was the fact that she accepted them.
He was frustrated
without having a dialogue with him about, hey, what do you think? She just said, okay, yeah, we'll take it. And so maybe there was another family member. Maybe there was another sibling. Maybe there's.
I don't think they have worked that out.
Because they didn't talk about it.
Communication.
There we go. It's like a piece I saw recently that came across my desk. We get a lot of emails. By the way, folks, if you want to send an email with an issue, you can to info@williejolly.com. info@williejolly.com. We'll keep it anonymous. So here's what the situation was. A lady and her husband had a farm next to the family farm where she had grown up. Her family still lived in the family farm. She had a child. She was homeschooling the child. Her sister got pregnant, had a baby, and yet needed to work because she needed the income. So this sister,
She was a single parent.
yeah, said, I will take, I don't know if she was a single parent.
Oh.
I don't know. She had to work. I don't know what the reason. She didn't say she was a single parent. I will take care of your child while you go to work. Or sometimes I'll spell you. That's really what she said. I will take 10 while you do some other things. I will take the child sometime. She did it, and it ended up being that it was every day, all day, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Her husband said, that's impacting our family. You didn't discuss this with me. I'm very unhappy about this. So it got so bad they had to go to marriage counseling. The marriage counselor said, you really need to apologize to your husband for not talking about it and not discussing it. And then you need to tell your sister, this is not working anymore. So she did that. Sister, a couple years go by, sister gets pregnant, woman gets pregnant, woman has a second baby, sister has a second baby. Sister says, I really need some help. Woman said, okay, I'm nursing and I'm taking care. Come on, let me.
So you're right back in the same.
And so she did it again. Husband was really teed off this time. He said, you didn't come to me at all. You didn't discuss this. But she had a need. I wanted to help her. He said, it's again. And so the question comes, what do you do there where there's this continuous process of not talking about what it is that you are thinking about doing? So that's what we want to say to folks is in these situations now with parenting issues, and then this grandparenting situation where the lady said, I took the kids, my husband didn't want to, and he's teed off about it. It's again, conversation, communication, having the difficult, critical conversations.
I think
that people don't sometimes do.
When you're emotionally upset, sometimes you forget it's we and not me.
Ooh, that's good. That preach. Say that again. Say that again.
Okay. When you're emotionally involved or upset, you can forget that it's we and not just me.
Yes. And
you're emotionally upset and you say, oh, okay, of course I will do that.
Yes.
I will help. When really you're a team.
Yes.
And that's a learned thing. And it can be difficult because I can remember when I would go out and I would be, this was like Saturday when I would do shopping or whatever. And that was when I would think I was still working on the hill or wherever else I was working. And you would say, well, where are you? And I was like, well, why do you need to know where I am?
That's when we were early married, yeah.
Because I wasn't thinking we. And it can take time for that to sink in. And you have to think we all the time.
Think we.
That can be difficult.
Great piece in the book about, I don't know if Ron and Gladys Pemberton, Gladys typically watches.
That's where the me as opposed to
that's where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
Me versus we. It's in the book. Great piece about Ron.
Their story
and Ron Pemberton. We got these couples who sometimes don't communicate. And in the lack of communication, assumptions are made. I'm assuming you're thinking like I'm thinking. Okay, that's what this woman was doing. And this was a church, folks. This was a church, and he was really teed off. And
you mean that's when you have to.
The church,
summarize too much. No.
Oh,
that's when we were the presenters at a church.
Right.
And that was one of the questions that we received that they wrote out on a card that did not have their name on it because we didn't deal with names. But that was an issue. The case of them taking the grandkids because the daughter was on substance abuse, but the husband was not happy about it. And that's a very challenging situation because you love your grandkids, but then you feel guilty because you don't want to be with them 24/7 and raise them because you want to do
most grandparents I say the same thing. We love our grandkids. They come visit, then we're going to send them home to their parents.
So you come visit, you spoil them, and then you send them back.
Right. Now, what happens if you can't send them back? And they're 21. You got to raise them, and you got to take care of them, and you got to feed them.
So I think what comes for me, that counseling. You have to talk it out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be so challenging. Like the father was saying, okay, I've worked all these years. Now I want to travel. Sometimes people put off, I want to do these things, and then I can't. But now you feel guilty because you're frustrated because you love the kids, but you don't want to raise them.
So it goes back to our TED Talk. Everybody should have seen our TED Talk by now. Go to jolleymarriage.com to see the TED Talk, how to never, ever argue again in marriage. In the TED Talk, we say 4 things. Be friendly. Be frank about your feelings. Be fair. Listen to the other person. But here's the one I want to get to. Be focused on a win-win. Attack the problem, not each other.
So how do you practice that?
So hold on, let me finish the thought. So rather than attacking each other about this kids versus no kids, this is
the
situation is still here's the situation. Let's figure it out.
You got these grandkids that have no place else to go.
And then you come up with solutions, the two of you together, rather than attacking each other about our position. Let's figure this out.
But what's in the middle of trying to figure it out is the emotional frustration of feeling stuck.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
Well, how do you get unstuck though?
You need to counsel. Of course, you got to talk, but maybe you need to have a third party that you can talk to until you can talk to each other directly.
If you cannot talk to
difficult is what.
If you cannot talk to each other, then you definitely need some counseling. We highly recommend y'all, if you have issues, get couple counseling, get marriage counseling, relationship. We've got a great counseling situation at our church. We got great folks. We had First Baptist Church of Glenarden. Most people know that, but we had First Baptist Church of Glenarden. We got lots of resources to help people to stay married. Now, that's
State of Maryland has a whole system too.
Terrence says the state of Maryland has a whole system that the grandparents can follow and get support. Maybe that's it. Maybe the grandparents can get some sort of support where they can.
There is different kinds of government programs or assistance for grandparents who find themselves in situations where they're thrust into being the parent. And of course, you wouldn't let me finish providing
sorry.
You wouldn't let me finish providing the background information.
She's so sweet.
In that, at least 10% of the people who are grandparents are below the poverty level. So they have to go to government services to get support.
You look mighty good too, by the way. You look mighty.
Thank you. This is what I had on.
I gave some remarks at the President of the Lifetime Achievement Award event here in Washington. I got my Joseph R. Biden President of the Lifetime Achievement Award in January, and the coordinator asked me to come and give some more remarks today. But I didn't give him any remark. It was running really late, and I did not want to be.
It was interesting.
I didn't want to be part of the reason people were there. As I said, I wanted to end on the same day it begins, okay? So we got to move this along. Y'all go to my website and see. You got to lead, feed, and seed. Y'all hear the rest of the story at my website, williejolly.com. All right, let's talk more about this. It's so powerful that we had so many parents. I wish Willie Larkin was on because he had so many great comments. But I did have a grandfather who I talked to over the weekend who said, I've got 3 grandkids. We are raising one of them. And then the other 2 are with their mother. Their mother chooses to have children.
And she's a professional.
Yeah, well, but she chooses to have children. And
without the father
actively involved. And then we have to take up the slack where the father has not done what he's supposed to do. And he said, we didn't choose this. This was not our making. And so what do you do then?
Terrence said grandkids can wind up in foster care. Yes.
And they
have a difficult time getting
and that's I think why many grandparents say
you don't want that's the whole real
That's
story.
right. That's right.
I've raised mine. I don't want to raise anymore. But what's the alternative? If there's
Foster
not if there's not another family member. See, it used to be growing up in the country, like I said, my father was one of 16, my mother was one of 8, and it's kind of like everybody else who came along, just kind of everybody ready. Just, it's like, we'll just add more water to the soup.
Right.
But today is different.
Right.
And so you might not really want to do it. You feel frustrated by it. So what are you going to do? You're not really going to say, you know what? I don't want to raise my grandkids. I really want to travel, so I'm going to put them in foster care. You're not going to do that.
You're not going to do that.
You're not going to do that.
No.
So that's why you need that counseling.
You need
to get
counseling,
the frustration.
and y'all need maybe come up with a plan. Maybe a strategy. That's right. You don't attack each other. Mm-hmm. Focus on the problem, attack the problem. So the problem might be, if that will happen to us, we might say we want a. I tell you what.
What?
When William was little, we took a vacation every year without him to St. Martin.
Right.
And we would figure out where he was going to go.
I think my parents.
And maybe Toya too. Well, both of them went at the same time. Mm-hmm. But we went and we said the kids would go.
But we planned.
We talked about it
because we needed it. So we planned the time.
And what I'm saying
and we saved the money.
But I'm saying we worked it out. We did not attack each other. I might want to go this time. We said let's find a family member who can take care of William for a week and LaToya for a week, and we can have our week to get away. And when William got older, he went with us one time. Okay?
Yes,
he went with us one time. But that's something. And someone said, Ms. D, you're beautiful. Your hairstyle tonight. It's every week. A lady, look, at this Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, as I was leaving, the lady said, what color is your wife's hair today? I said, come on with me. I'll show you. She right down here. I had stopped by to get one last thing after I did it.
Spray.
All right, so it's always something. It's a different color. Might be blonde, might be purple, might be gray, might be black, might be brown. Who knows? Anyway, all right. Grandparents, Terrence, understand they are not alone, but sometimes they feel alone, Terrence, and that's what we.
That's why this information is good.
Yeah.
That each municipality or state has programs.
Yes.
To help, but you have to reach out, and sometimes you can be embarrassed.
Yeah.
You can be embarrassed to say.
So
the kids are with me.
Let's start to wrap this up. Well, we only got 3 more minutes or so in the show. First of all, I want to thank everybody for joining in, and we hope that this was helpful to those who sent us questions. Go back to that one about the lady who did it the second time and took her sister's child. The husband, he was ready for divorce after that.
Really?
It said he
was annoyed.
He was really annoyed because she did it again. She didn't consult or have a conversation with him before making a decision. And that's what we want to get to. How important it is to have a conversation, talk it through. We talk about everything. You
know what? That's really a habit.
Yeah.
It's a new habit
that
developed. You have to form. Mm-hmm. So maybe you have to write it on the bath. I'm good for writing on the bathroom mirror, writing on the refrigerator. I got stuff written up. Discuss it with your husband. Discuss it with your mate. So a little change is how you start to develop a different habit. Like I would think of stuff. I can remember when we were newly married, the first couple of years, I would think of things, but I wouldn't share. I was trying to figure out how I was going to say it. Because I'm an introvert, which means I think a long time about it before I actually say it. So I had to work consciously at being able to express what I was thinking in a way that he could understand. The only way that I could do that was to start to share. I had to get over myself.
Right. She would talk about it. She'd think about it. That's right. That's exactly right. And she'd come up with a strategy of what to say, how to say it, and the fact that it really did make a difference when she would take the moment to think about it. And
because then my goal became to make sure that he understood what I was feeling and why I would behave in a certain way. It's just like this evening when he was visiting with his nephews, one who had come in from California, and they each have a little child. And they each have a little child. and they talked so loud. I was like, oh my God, I need to go home. I cannot take. And I said, I'm going to go to bed because I need quiet time because he talks so, and he's not aware of it. I'm like, he talks so loud, and when all the Jolleys get together and they're so loud, it just puts my nerve endings are like crazy. So I had to be able to say, my nerve endings are crazy. And y'all are driving. I had to learn to speak it. So then when I say, honey, you know what? Good evening with your family. I'm broke down now, and I'm going to go to bed. He understands because I had to explain enough.
I didn't finish your Ron and Gladys Pemberton story. I got to finish the guy because I'm a speaker, so I'm always going to come back to that story. So Ron loved cars, and he married this beautiful lady named Gladys, and they were newly married, and he was riding home one day, rode by the car dealership, saw this brand new Mercedes out there. Oh, Gladys would love that. And he ran in to look at it, and he bought the car without her being in. Went home and said, look what I got. She said, I got a baby on the way. We need every penny. What are you thinking? Why didn't you talk it over with me? And he realized that day, it's not about me, it's about we. And he said, from that day to this, and they've been married, oh man, 45, 46 years, I guess. Because I went to, one of our first dates went to their home. Okay, and that was over 40 years ago. And so he said, from that day to this, it's not me, it's we. It's a team. That's very important.
We're going to talk about step parenting next week.
Wow.
Challenge.
He said step parenting, the topic should be a two-parter. Woo, thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Christine Jones and Mark Downs and Brenda Colson and Brother Featherstone and Miss Ricia Middlebrooks and Monica and so many have joined us tonight. Thank you. And of course, the Cazaras, wherever you may be. We got a lot of folks. And then all of I know people like Betty Clark, we're praying for you, love you. Yeah. Alice Bennett, Alice Davis in Atlanta listens or watches in the replays. So wherever all around the world, when you're watching the replay, thank you for doing that. All we ask you to do is keep sharing it. Now,
comments with questions.
Now, last week I didn't mention that we started my one-man show, premiered here in DC. We had a great response. Now we want to do it every Saturday. Go to thecomebackshow.com. Thecomebackshow.com if you're in the DC area. Somebody, Terrence said maybe we could do a session with somebody who's living it, a phone in or something. Maybe that's something to talk about. But we want everybody to go to thecomebackshow.com if you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia, Baltimore area, and get your tickets. We're excited about it. It's a comeback show, how to turn your setbacks into great comebacks. It's music and motivation, inspiration, entertainment. I sing, I speak, I make you laugh, and I uplift you. If you want to feel better, if you need to feel better, get your tickets. You'll be glad you did. The Comeback Show. This Saturday night, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock this Saturday night in DC at Emory Fellowship. It's a beautiful venue. Everybody loves the venue. Everybody loves the venue. We got that over and over again. Our time is up. Thank you for yours. Got to go out on my music, and I hope you'll enjoy it. This is a song I sing at the show. So enjoy. Here we go.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.